dun 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 dun.
Hello,
Why?
and welcome to the limited edition arc, Avalon. Okay, so, uh, we'll begin with, like, this lovely high trill.
Quick,
Yes?
quick question before you get started on your opening.
Yeah.
Is this getting recorded?
It is.
Okay.
Yes, no, I'm recording, don't worry.
I wanted to ask it beforehand rather than after the session. Okay, sorry. Go
Oh,
on.
God.
You can cut
Okay.
this out.
So, we'll start with the black screen. Somewhere there's forest ambience with the flute playing a solid high note as some strings of violins join in. We'll pan from up, and it seems that we were in a dark forest. An almost magical and mystical forest. And as we pan further up, there's this setting where there is a large castle of sorts. Joyous Guard. And as there are a few establishing shots of the empty rooms, but still upkept, as though they're being used per se, but currently there's no one in them. There's a study with a book open. There are a few papers. There's an inkwell and a quill, still having been put down. The chair is slightly outside of the usual spot, and the door hangs open as light plays through the dust. There's a dining room, and a meal partially eaten, and it seems as though one of the chairs has been knocked over. And there's a few sets of forks and knives, somewhat cluttered on parts of the table. A curtain has been drawn back, and as the camera goes through the window, the glass kind of shimmering in effect, there's a large beam of light in the sky. It's almost rainbow in hue, mainly consisting of pastel colors. Is it better now?
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
I guess we'll see. Sorry.
Oh god, it's my internet. And
It's okay, it's understandable.
okay, I'm sorry. The light itself pillars into the sky, coming up from a forest that extends up a mountain. And as we go further and further towards, kind of swooping over into the light, that's when the title sequence comes up. Limited edition, big team, Avalon. The four of you are currently in Joyous Guard. A slightly different Joyous Guard. What are the four of you doing? Now, for a bit of context, it has been 4 days since the gate to Avalon was opened, and with Morgana and the dragon and the Black Knight sealed away, hopefully, in the arch, the four of you, as well as the knights, have been preparing to head into Avalon. Most of the preparation has been partial gifts for return, as is customary in Avalonian culture, and part of it sort of an anticipation and dread. It is the morning.
I think I am, I'm showing Herald around the castle, to all the different rooms and stuff.
Alright.
Ooh. Yeah. Herald would be listening intently, just eyes wide at. Sort of trying not to geek out a bit, I guess. But yeah, just wow, cool. Yeah. And what was this room?
This is the room where I first emerged from a dirty puddle, which I hadn't suspected. And then this room to the next of that is where we keep all the partisans. And then the room opposite that is where we keep the halberds. And then the room next to that one is where we keep the dinner bowls.
Halbert's dinner ball. Alright. Kind of a weird set of stuff to keep together, but cool.
Yeah, it's because the castle used to be a ruin, and then everything got reinvigorated and nice, but it didn't all get reinvigorated and nice at the same time. So for a while there, we only had a few rooms to use for. So we just and we haven't really bothered fixing it since.
Oh. Okay. Not bad though. It's a real proper castle. Lily, check this out.
Yep.
Yeah, he just repeats that again, like this room has had the halberds. Halberds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
It was just like very politely like nodding along, like, because I imagine she got this tour before, because she's been here before.
It looks
Yeah,
cleaner
Most likely.
for the most part.
That's good.
I
Is there
know.
still like little bits of like the magic kind of sparkles I think you described before? Like you can see like rolling down the fucking walls and cleaning stuff, or has that stopped?
It seems as though in this room, most of it has been cleaned up. There are occasionally, you can notice through the brickwork, the actual bricks themselves are partially sparkling, but you see the occasional kind of whiff of magic as it kind of follows the line of the lining of the brickwork and how they're set up and down, left and right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess while Ella's giving the tour, Gwen is somewhere, maybe kind of trailing behind them, but like somewhere nervously pacing, visibly vibrating with excitement and nerves at going back home and seeing her family. And meanwhile, vigorously texting Reckon, considering, as far as I'm aware, after the last session, she was moving out of Helsinki City.
Yeah.
So like checking up and like checking how that is going and such, to like keep herself distracted a little bit.
Oh.
Aww.
It's a bunch of heart emojis and all of these different, like encouraging texts. Like, if Avalon is gonna be the same as Montreal, then you're gonna have. Oh, never mind. You're gonna do great there. Don't worry, you got this, babe. XOXO, heart emoji, kiss emoji, heart eyes emoji.
Ah, same.
Copy paste the emoji.
No.
Alright.
I do imagine that Gwen, like since she's like shaking with excitement and nerves and such, she might accidentally tap on the wrong ones, so that she listens like F newspaper house,
Eggplant.
eggplant, sob.
Okay.
Cactus, Eye of Horus, sword, knife.
Stop shaking, it'll be alright. Adorable. do any of you have anything that you'd like to do in the castle before eventually one of the knights will come by to pick you up and you'll all be on the road? Actually, no. They've set up a magic mirror. A magic mirror in the case that it is a large, let's say, 15 by 15 foot mirror inside the cave, as well as one kind of propped up on one of the spare rooms of the castle, which is how they've mainly been moving stuff in and out.
They've just been using Elle as a taxi service.
Basically.
There's always someone who-
Villains use Uber, heroes use Lyft, Avalonians use L. And then there's like a jingle.
That's Old Spice. Okay.
What's L's commercial jingle, Alice?
Oh, you just did it. That's exactly it. I don't know how you did it so accurately. I definitely had thought of this before, and I definitely defined it, and that's exactly it.
True.
Okay.
Right, deserved. Patent pending.
I might actually be hitting you with the DMCA notice.
Demonetized. So, if
God.
nobody really has any scenes that they like to do before the track,
Custard?
guess, dude.
I mean, so are we directly headed to Avalon right after this?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just had a tiny thing where essentially just gotta send everyone texts, and also finally answer that third call from his mother.
It's mostly fussing and worrying and all the typical stuff.
Yeah, just like,
It's like you're going camping, basically, for 3 days instead, and your mom sends you 400 messages, 3 calls, gets your sister to call you, then your dad to call you.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, okay, I've got everything. It's fine. And no, I don't want to talk to Michelle. No, don't put her on. Damn it.
Take photos for me!
Hi, Michelle!
Hi, Elle. How are you?
Shoves the phone into Elle's hands, walks away.
Elle is going to just spend the next 15 minutes talking to Michelle.
Okay, it's mostly just gossip and all of the... I'll like, here's the mother flipping tea.
She's just like talking shit about classmates, like what they've done during the summer vacation so far.
Definitely.
There's like bits of Elle in the background just going, "He didn't!" and stuff.
Dead. If nobody has anything else, then I think we can say that we're on our way.
I'm good with that.
All of the customary texts and messages, and you're getting perfect signal despite this being an ancient stone castle that only has a single router up in the study, like halfway across the building.
It's a
magic.
very powerful router.
Yes.
Her name is Giselle.
Huh.
Okay.
You'd love to meet her, but unfortunately we have to go. Make sure that everybody has been to the bathrooms.
This is your...
Well, I mean...
Dendrian walks in. This is gonna be your last chance to use one of those, awesome toilets, and not a chamber pot.
Wait, what? Right,
I gotta go carry this crate. We're gonna leave in about 15 minutes or whenever she looks over. Elle gets off the phone.
Oh, do you need me to open the mirror again?
Only if you feel like it. We only have maybe 1 or 2 crates left.
Okay, I'll be right there. So then, like, Herald did this thing, and the way that Lily responded was just Hold on, I'll text you a picture.
She kind of stutters for a second at the mention of Lily, but like still goes
Yeah,
on super
Lily.
excited.
Lily's just like doing the like hand across the neck thing, like don't mention me.
Hand across the trunk.
Oh, you mean the stem?
Damn,
The
good,
stab,
great.
That's a better one.
And it's just like trying to back away from that phone call, like, no, don't mention me.
Elle
Yikes.
doesn't know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
That
know.
makes it
Now I'm
better.
realizing. So Lily's just gonna be like, I can explain the context of that later, should it ever matter.
It's alright, I think. Yeah.
So Elle will eventually hang up the phone call and give the phone back, and then go and be a taxi service again for Dindrain.
Alright. It's enough. It's enough. Soon enough, you all clear out. Maybe an hour's gone by. All of the goodbyes have been sent. There are no letters. Everybody's well informed about where you're going. For the most part, how long? Because you don't quite know how time really works in these spirit dimensions, and hopefully they're the same. And everybody's gonna a bit like off. But for the most part, things are optimistic. And soon enough, you're all standing before the gate as it glows and hums. There are the little black tendrils leading up to where the focus is, and it has actually been taken out. But the gate is still powered, and it is in this case. Not the same case as before, but a slightly more able case to travel with. And it seems that for the most part, the crates that have been brought over have been loaded onto a large wagon of sorts. And there aren't any horses. But that'll be a problem once it gets to it. And the actual magic portal is almost wave. It's let's see. It's waving. It's very wavy, almost like water, but it looks like a solid, and at the same time, it looks almost like you could put your hand in it and it's a gas. Who steps first through?
First, and just like summon my sword and have it out so that I can protect the portal on the other end once I make sure that everyone gets through safely.
All right.
Everyone looking at each other like, you go, no, you go, no, you go.
Okay. This is happening, huh?
And actually, before the rest of you go, you actually see Lancelot chained up, no armor, in the cart, like chained to one of the sides.
Yeah.
Prisoner.
Dad?
For the
I mean,
most-
father?
Awkward.
Alright. Lily just like, eyes darting between like, Amon and Gwen and just like, uncomfortable.
So, what move can I directly engage him
way.
to hug him?
You can just hop up into the cart and try and hug him.
Because, like, is this the first time that I've seen him in, or like, have we met him before this?
Yes. Oh.
Because I wasn't like in the
Right.
last session that he was in, so
Yes. This is the first time you're seeing him.
yeah, I'm definitely hugging.
Oh. You like run up into the cart, kind of trying to shove your way past some of the crates. They've topped this thing high. Nobody is sitting in this thing other than him. And
I am so going to scold somebody for this. You're not some piece of cargo. Are you all right? I haven't seen you in ages. Why didn't you tell me that you broke out of prison?
As you're going through this, he kind of goes through the typical kind of broody emotions, but like tries and hugs you kind of through the manacles per se. I wish I could have been there sooner, but it seems that it was the safest opportunity to simply attempt to meet later versus headed directly towards back to Halcyon.
You expect me to just accept that?
Once we get back, things will be dealt with privately, and I will be released, of course, but that is only once we enter Camelot, as well as some of the outlying villages, just so that a panic doesn't arise.
Right. Well, you have a lot of explaining to do. And no excuses. Also, safety first.
Kinda goes back. You should head through the portal. The knights will bring the cart over once all of you have been safely brought through.
After us.
Yes, it appears that Galahad has already gone ahead.
Of course he has.
Well, Galahad can go choke on a dick. I'm staying with you.
Kind of coughs for a minute, but like it's a quick little kind of like don't worry, just go ahead.
I don't want to.
Reject his influence, unless he doesn't have influence over you.
He does, but is he shifting my labels for something?
He is trying to shift. Let's see, what the frick are labels again? I know this. I know this game. Trying to shift your superior down and your mundane up.
Well, Father, that is very nice, but my superior is locked.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the thing I was looking at.
I think you might still have to reject influence to not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Do. If you want to keep your labels as they are, you must reject their influence. I mean, if...
Oh, that's true.
Oh, if you accept what they say, the GM will adjust your labels accordingly. Okay. Well, I will just reject it then. Which I do with a +2 because I'm delinquent.
Oh, yeah. Fuck authority.
This is the first time that I get to use this move too, because y'all GMs have not been using influence on people.
We're trying, okay?
I've been wanting to reject influence for the entire season. Okay, but that's a 7.
Right.
So I will go ahead and I'm not going to cancel his influence. I mean, I'm not going to cancel my father's influence.
I do what I want.
But because of this, I am going to shift my savior up,
All right.
and I'm gonna say danger down.
All right. So you're gonna stay with him in the cart?
Yeah.
All right. So some of the other knights, they don't look as wary per se as Galahad appeared to be, but they're still a bit kind of cautious. But it's just Gwen and Lancelot, father and daughter. Makes sense, I guess. He wouldn't hurt her. Who's the next through the portals as Lamorak and Percival take up one end of each cart and it like suddenly jolts up. That's the knight super strength for you.
All right.
Just like looking at them all at the same time.
Sure.
Someone got pushed. Oh no, you need
Okay.
3.
I think like this one. One.
Let's go.
Just like jump.
God, if one of you were a delinquent, I would have totally expected, or a gremlin, I would have totally expected that someone, you finish, and then someone runs in. Or someone gets pushed in, and then you go after.
Sorry, we're both extremely low.
I mean, if you want, I can eat somebody.
No.
No, thank you.
Where to now? Too late.
Alright. And, yeah, you're in the cart, so eventually they push through, and all of you from... Oh, there goes my internet. All of you for a moment, can you hear me? Okay, there. For a moment, it's completely white, and you hear almost a chorus of song, and it's like almost sensory overload. Is white, but it's not white. It's all these different colors shooting into your eyes at once. The sound of the choir, kind of reaching higher and higher and more intense before you hear a low baritone voice kind of rumble throughout as the choir eventually re-overtakes it. And as your vision eventually fades to black for a moment, you begin to shake the darkness out of your eyes, and you all find yourselves in a whimsical forest. There's a slight slope, but a pretty distinct dirt road that leads through, wide enough for the cart, as you emerge on this semi-rocky plateau.
What does the arch look like on this side? Does it look like the one in the cave? Oh, I should unmute.
Come on, Fredboat. Come on, Fredboat. Don't fuck me, Fredboat.
Do you have a song actually in there? I don't hear anything.
There we go. Is this the right song?
Just really song. This sounds like a choir singing the Game of Thrones intro.
Damn it, it's the wrong song.
I mean, we're so,
Alright.
we're
Just
at the start of going into a roast. So.
just listen to that first song.
Okay, I'll play it.
I'm sorry, everyone. Technical difficulty. There. As you look back towards the arch where you emerged, all you see is a humble little outcropping of stone. And everyone is kind of standing outside on the plateau, and the cave itself appears to be nothing more than just a simple little alcove. There is maybe a pile of leaves or sticks that appears to be a nest of some sort. A very rough, unmade nest, probably where a bear would sleep or something.
Do I know where we are?
From all around you, you just see forest. You don't know where this is.
Okay.
We haven't
And I-
by chance accidentally end up in the Feywild, have we?
I
Doesn't
don't think so.
look like what I remember it looking like, but
Yeah.
I guess that's possible. Can I, like, ask these trees, hey, what's up, Avalon trees? Are you Avalon trees?
Turns out the Avalon trees are immigration services.
Oh, no.
Give me a general
If-
mundane roll.
Oh, dear.
If
Okay.
any shadowy Fey attack you, we're in the Feywild. Otherwise, all doesn't look
We
like
have shadowy
Well-
Fae here too, Herald.
That's a 5.
it. Okay.
The trees themselves slightly recoil at the sound of your voice. It's not recoiling in the sense of physical, but more a sense of shock, kind of reaction.
Did
Before
they just snub me?
they're shocked to hear this voice emerge from nowhere, and this you aren't part of their network per se, but you get the distinct sense that these aren't Feywild trees. They're different. They're still spirit. Their spirits are different than that of Earth per se. It's got a more magical tinge to it.
Yeah, definitely not Feywild trees, but also definitely not Earth trees. So I
Some
guess
of
this is
the-
Avalon.
Look like
Process
some
of
of the trees
elimination?
that I played in as a child. So, yeah, I think we're in Avalon. It feels familiar.
That
So-
makes sense.
Going through the portal felt very different from how I remember it.
I mean, it kind of smells like Avalon. Certainly not all gassy like Halcyon City.
Yes.
The air is noticeably crisper.
Where's Cyclone?
God damn.
Can I like do a quick perimeter to see if there's any danger around? I just want to make sure that this place is safe before everyone else is through.
Give me an assess.
All right.
The rest of you see the knights kind of taking a deep, kind of preparing breath in and just exhaling. First time in almost 10 years of not seeing, not breathing Avalon. Alright, pick one.
What here is the biggest threat?
You've only lived in Halcyon for almost
Half a year.
Half a year of sorts?
A bit more than half a year. but
More than
yes.
half a year. 3/4 of a year, per se, 8 months.
Mhm.
And you're still you still have, there's still that sense of longing, per se, and that welcome home feeling, but it's not as intense, and you're able to focus more on the woods around you, on the telltale signs of predators, prey, flora, fauna, everything. And what here's the biggest threat?
Mm-hmm.
You notice track marks that could be some kind of predator.
Okay. Do they seem like they're headed away from us?
It seems
Like,
that, yes.
from the direction we're going? Okay.
Yeah. There are a few sort of walking around motions, sort of as though it were prowling, sniffing around the area, trying to discover where the scent of potential prey was before it goes off into the woods and the scrubbery.
Okay. Elle will just kind of warily look around and then sheath her sword and walk back to the rest.
Alright.
All good?
Yes, this is still a wild forest, so you shouldn't wander off, but I don't think there's anything dangerous all that nearby.
That's good.
Alright.
That's a relief.
That-
So, where do we go from here?
I don't know, I don't recognize this road.
Galahad
Are the
steps
other
up.
knights with us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all
okay.
with you. They're just like taking a moment because holy shit, we haven't been back here in almost 10 years.
Uh-huh.
And it is intense.
It was just before my 9th birthday when we left, and now I'm 18. I can't believe that I've lived longer in Halcyon than I have lived in Avalon.
Whoa.
That's a weird thing to realize.
Well,
Welcome back.
maybe you can make up the time when this is done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to be back.
Hey, yeah. I don't know how that would feel. I've never lived anywhere else, but I imagine it'd be pretty cool seeing, another home again.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, wait.
I
One second,
I look forward to seeing everybody again.
Oh,
Yeah,
one sec. And Lily just kind of like rustles a little bit, like shakes a little bit, and then just like a bunch of like vine arm things just like throw up a bunch of like flower petal confetti. Welcome back.
Oh, that is adorable.
Thank you, Lily. It's Is that your way of comfort and support?
Roll a comfort and support.
Oh, okay, I can. It was just a thing I wanted to do, and then I forgot because I was like, stuff.
It's very good. It's a very good idea. Thank you.
I love it.
It's amazing.
Good.
Please don't fail.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness, that is the opposite of a fail.
Okay.
Imagine if I had
Nice.
bad luck cards.
All right, I'm going to clear guilty. I think that Gwen so far has kind of felt like a little bit selfish and like, oh, hey, we're going back to Avalon and such, and kind of felt like dragging other people into this, but clearly the other people also want to be here, so
Okay.
And I will add a team to the pool, also.
Hell yeah.
okay.
Oh no, we need to clear some conditions on Lancelot.
There are some special rules again for how team works.
Go on. While I figure that out.
Teamworks makes the dream works.
It's the usual, whenever...
That's
What is it, at the end of a session?
uh-huh.
Yeah, it gets cleared.
Oh, and mood, Alice. I often have like a lot of conditions, but because I keep them in mind, I often realize like, oh yeah, confidence support is a thing, or team moves.
Alright.
Kris, don't think too much about Shrek. Think instead about the road to El Dorado.
Whoa.
I was just about to break into All-Star.
Hey now. So Galahad comes out from the part on the opposite side of the road, El, that you were exploring from. He had the same idea in mind to somewhat delve further into the woods to scout ahead and make sure that nobody was watching. The road ahead is clear. It seems that this will likely lead, if not back to Camelot directly, then to at least a plain, since it is a downward slope.
So, you don't know where we are either?
These woods are familiar. Once we get to a potential outcropping, then I might be able to figure out the location.
Uh,
The
Oh,
woods
are there-
around here are very large and confusing.
okay.
Are
Would
there
it
are like the
be-
wandering rocks with like the faces on them still here?
No, they
You think?
were scared off by something.
Oh, okay.
Look, if there's any like landmarks nearby, I could just take a look from all the way up there. Just points up.
You might be able to see something if you were to go. But for now, I think we should head down further.
Sure, I mean,
I mean,
just
I guess
describe something and I'll go take a look. Won't take that long.
Yeah, wouldn't it be faster for Amon to just check from now so we can at least tell if we're starting in the right direction?
it's not just knights here right now, so we should use the strengths of all of our squad team.
Yeah, why else bring us?
Yeah.
Very well
Can
then.
Not that I'm saying I'm
Kind of points up towards the sky.
Alright, be right back. And he's gonna just kick off into the sky.
Zoop.
Hey El, what do you call like a group of knights actually?
I mean, that depends on why they're together. It could be a squad if they're actually organized. It could be an order if they belong to the same order. It could be part of an army. There's a bunch of different things. Are you
Okay.
looking for a specific word?
No, I was just wondering what would describe us. I think at that point we can just cut back to Herald. We didn't want to distract him much from that.
Yeah. Herald, give me an unleash your powers.
Okay, just give me a second. I do want to point out that there's 9 of us. You could be a mighty certain number and unleash it.
Don't
Oh
you
my
dare put these ideas in my head, Custard. I've been pushing them out all weekend.
Okay. Taking
No,
a look from all the way
Custard.
up there.
We are a mighty
Nice.
no. Alright,
Sorry.
that's it. That's all. Okay, so you dart through the sky. You manage to kind of zoop through a bunch of tree branches. It's almost more satisfying than flying through Halcyon. Almost.
Oh no.
You can dart through in and out of buildings, and that's a lot of fun, but just the open, clear sky itself, the air is cool and slightly sweet, almost to the taste, as you dart and break through the tree line and kind of loop around.
That's a spin.
Pirouettes. You notice that from directly looking below, directly where you were, you see that kind of the partial clearing is on the smoother face of a mountain entering into a valley, a very faint valley.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought they were doing karaoke night again. And it eventually slopes back up and then sprawling into large empty fields. Some of them have large farms and stuff. And you see the mountain of which the cave originated. It's tall. It's part of a small mountain range of sorts. Their peaks are dotted with white from where they become colder, of course.
Any castles?
With that roll, in the faintest distance, you can make out cresting over another one of the partial hilly mountains of sorts. On the coast, you see kind of a smattering of buildings. It kind of leads up over into a cliff, and you see a few spires from the top of that cliff, and they look like towers of a castle. And you see a large wall kind of extending from the shoreline to the shoreline, making an arc shape inland.
Gonna do his best to memorize that before diving back down.
You could just say that you recount the information.
Yep. No, he was doing his best to remember that so he can recount it and create a tiny illusion of it.
Oh.
You got a map now.
Nice.
So, yeah, this is where we are, and that thing just dings with one of those video game markers.
Waypoints?
Waypoint.
A Sims thing.
Ding. Yep. And
A plumb bob. Yes.
Plumb bob.
yeah, plumb bob.
Do you make
that's
like little figures of us with plumb bobs over?
Sure, now he does.
Amazing.
And yeah, that's where the castle spires. I saw spires. That's where they are. So, looks at the knights.
Percival kind of narrows his eyes and looks further in, and kind of like attempts to sort of gauge the distance per se. And he seems to memorize it for the most part. And soon enough, he picks up one side of the cart, Lamrack picks up the other side, and Lancelot's in the back. Dindrain and Galahad are kind of scouting ahead partially. It's time we left off. If it appears that if we follow the road, we should be able to hit the main path.
That's a good idea. We shouldn't be in these forests by nightfall.
Unless, of course,
What happens in here at nightfall?
Bad things.
There's a lot of things in these forests, Lily. It's
Okay.
And it's not all gremlins.
Why is it always forests with the things? Okay.
You hear a bit of scampering in the trees and kind of a as a few branches break and some of the leaves kind of tumble down.
Don't worry. There's a lot of knights around here, and we'll be out of the forest soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mm.
Elle tries to give like a reassuring smile.
Oh. You want to make
Besides,
that?
like, yeah.
Do you want to make that into a comfort support?
I should not. I shouldn't. But sure.
It'd be fun.
Go ahead.
Let's see.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
wow, y'all.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Popping off
Max roll.
today.
Dope.
So, Elle can also clear a condition.
Yeah, I'm clearing a freight.
Yeah.
Dab.
Hey!
I'm clearing a freight because this is familiar territory for me, and I know what to do there, and I know what the threats are. So that's
What stuff do you
More of
still have?
guilty and hopeless.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna mark potential because I actually don't have any conditions. I thought I had a. I guess I cleared that last time.
Yay, no
Um,
conditions.
Woo. Okay.
And besides, you've got our back, we've got yours. So
Right. Yeah. Just
yeah.
bad
Alright.
experiences with weird magic forests, but this time I'm not solo. So thanks, everybody.
I've returned, and I apologize for the background noise. They're throwing a bachelorette party.
It's fine.
Woo.
Don't worry about it, Annie.
They're gonna ruin the ambiance.
It's
So-
fine.
Don't worry. I'm sure that there's a bachelorette party going on in Avalon somewhere, and somebody's getting married soon.
They're getting turned. So you all are making your way down the road?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I am
so.
staying at the back and keeping an eye behind us.
Okay. And you cleared a condition, Al, and Enchantress, what did you do?
Add a potential. That's what she did.
Yeah, I got a potential.
Okay. So, the cart kind of along the dirt, kicking up, hitting a few potholes along the way. Gwen, you were still. Where's the power? You were still in the cart.
I guess I might have come off, but that I stayed near it.
Okay.
I'm imagining that she's like dressed to go like hiking with like hiking boots, cargo shorts, and wearing flannel. With like Nimue, the sword bound up and tied, hung over her shoulder. And she's like walking around and looking around with the others, more up front.
Awesome. Okay. You all make your way through, walking. The forest itself, in the daytime, it is really just lovely. There are the garden variety. Trees, bushes, plants. It's all very almost wallpaper-esque. And there are perfect spots for photo opportunities along the way. And
Totally gonna snap.
alright, you take a photo. And there are occasionally a few trees. You see that their trunks sprout up way past the actual tree line. There are a few flowers themselves that Lily, you almost recognize. Oh, it's almost like a No, it looks more like an orchid. Maybe it's both.
Mm.
And
Tulip orchid.
Ooh.
it all it's got that familiar side to it with flavors of magic and fantasy thrown in.
Oh. I think for like the rest of the walk, Lily's just gonna try to be recreating these things.
You're having a few issues recreating them, of course.
Probably not. Can have tulip, can have orchid, cannot have one that is both and is just.
You're mashing them together. Now kiss! Like two Barbie dolls.
Oh my god.
Actually, that's a good point. I put it in my notes somewhere, but I forgot. Elle, where are the cat blobs?
Elle put them through. Put them through the mirror to Parrot's house yesterday.
Oh, okay.
She didn't bring them.
Okay. The catwalks are safe at home with their potat fish
Yes.
snacks.
Yes.
No need to get confused about which Percival we're referring to or which Fleur.
Well, Percival might be a bit tricky, but other than that, soon enough.
Would
Yes.
Lily be able to, assimilate these art chips somehow if she picks them? Just
don't
curious.
think that's what she's trying to do, and it's just like to a frustrating degree of non-success.
Okay.
Oh,
In that case, Lily, give me an unleash.
Oh,
mm.
doke.
I would like to boost that.
Okay, how can you boost it?
Well, clearly one of the noble skills that you are taught in Avalon is flower arrangement. So Gwen
That's
has
true.
had some lessons in taking care of flowers and like the proper way to remove them and like put them with other flowers and stuff like that. So she will like help Lily with that and like takes out like a small knife and such.
Plant
And
husbandry.
yes. Here you go, my plant husband.
What?
There's also I don't know if it's cohabitation or something. I don't remember the word for it if two plants are put together they're mutually beneficial.
Symbiotic.
Symbiotic is more fauna, but whatever, it's fine.
There is a word for it, and I know it in Dutch, but I don't know it in English, unfortunately.
I don't remember what it is, but okay, so that's boosted up to a 7. Would you like to make it unstable or temporary or mark condition?
Oh, unstable or temporary?
Alright, so you managed to make, with Gwen's help, you managed to arrange the flowers. They're kind of like sticking out here and there, but for the most part, they create a nice little flower tiara of sorts. Pardon me. And by the time you kind of exit the woods and you enter this large grassy clearing, the blades are green. Deep, lively green. And they're maybe a foot high. That's like half a meter. Is it? It's a little under half a meter. Yeah, about a third. Yeah, about a third to half. And
that's when, in a flash of moonlight, Aman changes from what he was wearing before to this.
oh,
As the exit. Yeah.
costume
Nice.
change.
Skin unlocked.
Thought I'd look the part.
It's a nice outfit, Aman.
Nice boots.
You'll fit right in.
Thank you. That was the plan.
Oh,
Okay.
I forgot we're gonna have to be around people.
Yes, we do have people here.
It's about that time that the orc is actually, or orc lips start kind of wilting and falling out.
Hey,
But they turn
they're
to
gonna
sparkles
find you, yeah.
in the
There's
grass.
people, and they'll find you just as awesome as we do.
Okay.
I mean, if there are no people, then something really terrible must have happened. Especially because Merlin was still able to contact us.
Wait, are you expecting that there won't be people? Why would there be no people?
Suddenly, Gwen looks very uncertain.
What does this mean?
Gwen,
Look, we haven't been here in 9 years, and the last piece of contact that we had was Merlin showing up like a giant thunderstorm god thing and giving one of his vague, dickish prophecies.
I don't think you need to worry. There might not be nearly as much people in Avalon as there are in the Halcyon, but there's still enough, and it will take more than a couple years of even war to wipe us all out.
Yeah, I guess at least this place doesn't have like nukes or something like that.
What's a nuke?
Oof.
Ooh.
It's like
Evil.
a dragon, but do you know what a bomb is, right?
Yes.
It's like the dragon of bombs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's really big and really powerful, and it can kill a lot of people.
That's awful.
I see.
Mhm.
Well, no, we don't have those. We do have dragons, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess the forest is still here, and
Yes.
these trees look older than 9 years. So
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's what knights are for.
and I didn't see any like destruction from all the way up there, so things
Good.
should be fine.
Cool.
Actually, on Herald, on that note,
oh no,
I have to
no.
mute for
Oh,
dramatic
no.
effect now. That just so happens to coincide because with Pagro.
God damn it, Annie, and Annie's parents. Well, taking bets on what terrible thing we're going to encounter now.
I don't know, but I'm holding my breath.
Please breathe.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, cool. Thanks, Alice.
What for?
I just saw you boost the server.
Yeah, I realized I could do that. I was like, alright.
Ooh.
I don't fucking know what it does, honestly.
Okay. Sorry about
If we get 7 more people to boost it, we get another 50 free emojis, higher audio quality, a server banner, and 50 MB upload limit for all members,
that. Ooh, that's
Okay.
a good one.
so that images you upload can be bigger.
Boost OSC.
Heavy.
On
Welcome
that
back,
note,
Annie.
thank you. Harold, you recall you were on the lookout particularly for a settlement and kind of a general scope of the area. And the more you remember, it's actually kind of at the very like limits of your vision, kind of like where you're up in the sky, but your vision is partially restricted simply because of like fog and weather conditions and stuff like that. And you recall seeing a partially gray but still tinged with color, a forest, what you assume is way north.
Oh. Wait, a forest?
It appeared to be a forest. And right before where your vision sort of obscures due to the weather, you saw a kind of grayish tint to the entire thing. Kind of like the area there got slightly desaturated. But that's the only really off thing that you could recall. And even then, the nature of Avalon is different from what you're used to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a desaturation forest. Nothing to worry about.
I.
That's just the Grey Wild.
Sudden character.
No.
Nope.
He's gonna bring that up though. There was something though, like. And just describes, like, grey and. Weird, like. Weird enough for the eye. You know what I mean?
You recall that
That's-
to be the... What is it? Oh my god, I have the name somewhere. I don't know if I hit my hair on the... Come on, it's here somewhere. the Ashwood Forest, where the trees are laced with silver.
Ooh.
Faux silver. Like fool's gold.
Yes. I don't think you need to be worried about it. I can take you to it when we get there. It's kind of a sight, really.
I like that. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
You all forge on through the green fields. The green itself, again, is intense. A deeply saturated green, if you will. You break your way through. The road itself cuts through. And it's strange because as you sort of think back, why would there be a perfectly polished road, dirt road, leading up to this random cave?
Okay. So the road just leads to a cave, to nothing else?
Like lead to the cave?
If you were to go back, it would lead you directly to the cave, but for now you're headed straight along towards, back up, cresting towards another one of the hills.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're saying that the road looks like it's maintained?
Yeah, the road is, maintained. There are no tracks, though, from previous pitfalls and stuff. You appear to be the first ones using it, despite it being very well maintained.
Huh.
That's
Well, I mean, I guess that means, like, it looks basically perfectly new.
Yeah.
not how paths work.
Maybe that's how paths are in Avalon.
I mean,
I don't know. I was not trained to make paths.
hey, Percy, is this weird?
I'm not sure. And he turns to Lemrak, and Lemrak kind of like puts part of the cart weight, and Dindrin comes in, takes it over. And he kind of takes some of the topsoil, rubs it through, smells it, like licks it a tiny bit, kind of trying to sense things, and looking as you're walking along through the grass blades. This appears to be a normal road. Like it's been well worn for years, but there are no marks, no remnants of traveling creatures. Okay, he tasted it. He didn't just like shove a bunch of dirt in his mouth.
No, I'm being serious and genuine.
For Enchantress, it's normal.
Exactly.
Yeah, better. It seems that whatever it is, he kind of like stops for a second, like shudders a bit. Huh.
What was that?
It's magic.
Why'd you do that? What's magic? Everything?
The
The
road.
dirt?
What
The road?
made the road is magic.
Well,
Jeez.
Merlin knew we were
Not me.
coming. I wouldn't put it past him.
Probably up to
Yeah.
his shenanigans again.
Does it? Lamorak, I hate to ask this, but does the dirt taste like Merlin's magic?
What? Does magic have taste?
Magic is all kinds of tastes.
What?
I mean,
Cool.
different kinds of magic can give like different sensations, and taste is just one sensation that you get. Like Rhiannon is like an ice cream sundae made with skim milk.
That's weirdly specific.
Yeah.
Huh.
Faint crispy scent of vanilla and wilting roses.
Okay. Huh.
Amon's wondering what his magic is like now.
Well, I can't exactly tell. It is magical though, and it's not dark magic.
That's good.
That's good.
I assume it's Merlin. It seems like something he would do to know that we're coming and have full power over where to put us, and rather than put us somewhere nearby, he puts us several days away but does make a road.
Does
Yeah,
the
it probably
focus
wants us
react to
to.
this at all?
Galahad kind of steps up. Yeah, it does seem a lot like him.
I guess he probably wants us to arrive in like a specific fashion so he can make like a big deal out of it. And then just brush us off like it's nothing, but really he needs all of our help.
Mm-hmm.
Something he did a lot.
Yeah, did he?
Well, the help part he never did to me. I don't think. I saw him do it to some of the knights when I was a squire. With me, he mostly just stared at me and told me I was going to ruin the entire world someday, and then walked away.
He broke one of my dolls
Wow.
once and never apologized.
What?
Why do you guys still work with him?
Yeah.
Oh, he's only the most powerful wizard in the world.
He's like the Godspeed of Avalon.
Why do all the most powerful people have to suck? Ugh.
It's the egos, man. You two.
Okay.
So what? We just follow the magic dirt road then, and then
The
If
magic
it leads
dirt.
us to where we need to go, then we might as well. I'd say keep your guard up, but I don't think it was ever down.
okie doke.
We're off to see the wizard. The grumpy wizard of Avalon.
Down the magic dirt road.
We're gonna get copyright strike.
I call dibs on being the scarecrow man.
Oh. You're all, having this conversation as you're all walking along, and eventually you crest up the second hill, taking a quick little break, again at one of the... What did I call it before? Overlooks. Oh my god.
Lookout?
Not lookouts.
Cliff?
Outcropping?
Outcropping. So you go through that. The road does not turn out to yellow bricks out of spite. But you notice it's starting to get a bit less dirt and a bit more mixed gravel. As you head up the mount, the hill. It seems to follow the natural pattern of the environment, and you actually see Enchantress, you managed to get the first glimpse of something sparkling that, as you look out over the horizon, you actually see it looks like water, and kind of tracing your eyes, what would this be? Eastward in terms of geography, not looking to the right, you're looking to the left. You actually see the faint spires that Herald described. This time they're looking a lot closer, and you actually see a few houses, possibly villages, with large swaths of farmland, and a pretty grand road of almost cobblestone leading up to this large wall that it is humongous. It is tall. You can't even gauge the height because it looks tall compared to all the villages. You do not have any horses. It is the knights who are actually dragging this cart along, and they're taking shifts.
Of course.
Elle is currently on her shift of dragging the cart.
Yeah. Right now you're taking a break and you're about to take the
Definite
next.
show off. Merlin.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just like pointing out, like, look. Right direction. Nice, Herald.
Eventually.
Also, if we are like taking a breather,
Yeah.
we will offer water bottles and trail mix.
Oh, I saw trail
Oh.
mix at the store today. I wanted to cry. And actually, as the knights are taking their quick breather, I think that's where we can take a quick little break.
Okay.
Okay.
Chomping down on trail mix.
As in our break. Which means muting and
Okay.
using. Oh, sure.
I don't got nowhere to be.
Could you repeat your question for the audience?
How much more pissed off is Galahad now?
He is less. He's in a normal state of pissed off, but right now he's just kind of like the anime thing where it's like when the character's annoyed with like the eye twitching and the vein and the it's like the red curves.
Yep.
Those
Got
things.
Would a drum beat on one of the cards to go along with the lyrics tick him off more?
Yes.
Excellent. Amana's totally adding that to the lyrics.
You hear him audibly sigh as he continues forward and forward, his pace. He's got the sword and shield out despite you've crested the hill and now you're in just plains. There are a few hills in the distance, but those are about maybe a mile, maybe a kilometer and a half away. It is far and you can see basically everything. It's just grass up to your waist for the most part as you continue on. And it seems that now the road, actually slightly up ahead, the road merges itself with a large cobblestone polished road. As you see a sign sticking slightly crooked out of the ground with this silvery bronze lettering on it. That's a bit too far away to read. What do you do?
Get closer so we can read it.
That makes enough sense. Eventually, you move closer and closer and closer until you eventually see in the medieval font, just absolute medieval, Camelot, 2 kilometers. It's gothic.
Well,
Okay.
And you see
Kilometers.
the base of the wall in the distance.
How much is that in miles?
Like 1.5 miles.
Oh, that was in character.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're not at the wall right now. The wall is in
No.
the distance, and we are at like a sign.
Yeah. You're at the crossroads where the actual road that you're traveling on ends, and it merges into the cobblestone road that is way bigger and wider. That looks like it's been heavily trekked through.
Okay.
Camelot
Well,
is 2 miles away, or 2 kilometers away.
Cool.
we are
Nearly
so
there.
close.
Takes picture time.
Oh boy.
Also,
Snap
very
photos.
cool that this medieval society is using kilometers.
I don't know what medieval societies use.
Hey, no shame.
It's
I
fine.
like it. I like it.
it's fine.
4,000 of the king's paces.
I think 1,000 of the king's pace is a bit too long versus 2 km.
It's 5 sword lengths.
That's a fucking long sword,
What
bud.
kind of sword?
It's the longest sword.
Listen. We don't talk about that abomination that Nimue once tried to make. It came out successful, and that is all we need to know for a measurement.
So that's where Sephiroth got his sword from.
Yes.
So you're joking around, walking until eventually you see the wall itself kind of looming ever taller and taller as you approach the road to one of the villages. And it's pretty sparse, it's pretty barren, it doesn't really have much, it's just simply for farming mainly. And all of the knights stop you for a moment And right now you're at a standstill before entering the village. As they pop open some of the crates, they take out some of the livery and stuff of each of each of their houses, or houses? No, I'm thinking Hogwarts. Of their heraldry, pun intended. And Lancelot actually gets unbound. And he summons his armor. And generally everything is done in relative quiet, and it's almost, the tension is almost, it's thick enough to cut with a knife once he's released. How do you all react?
Elle just also summons hers, make sure that like the heraldry on her cape is easily visible.
Alright. And
Father, do we have any of ours?
he looks towards the others partially, and yeah, Dendron kind of raises one hand and kind of uses her sort to like crack and pop open one of the crates. Yeah, it should be in here. Ah! And like she kind of like bursts back as this large like mass of pink explodes out from the crate.
What?
What?
As this as the cart itself begins to like topple slightly before the large thing jumps out and lands with a poof, as well as something else gracefully like arcing through the air and lands right next to all of you.
I'm big confused.
You recognize Acacio and Rosea as they pop out from...
Okay, for a second I was like, is it made of cloth or made of flesh?
Oh my god.
No, pink massive leaves!
Okay.
God.
Okay. Oh, I just
When you said
about had a
something
heart attack.
springs out of the box, my first thought was like, oh, it's one of those wavy things they put outside of used car lots.
I thought it was a Jack-in-the-Box type thing.
Yeah. Okay, this is much better.
Do you all say this in character?
Acacio, how did you fit in there? Wait, which one?
Yeah.
No, Rosea. Rosea is the end, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How did you fit in there? How?
Like the crack
Why?
of the creaking of wood. Acacia kind of steps up, fingers poised, as graceful as ever. It was tight, but luckily the magic of pocket dimensions extends, not quite comfortably, but enough.
Whew.
So good
I nearly
to see
blasted you two.
Why didn't you just walk along with us?
Yeah.
You'd have had more space.
It's like, Lily's just like looking at this box, Rosea, just like, still not.
Shrug.
Wait, just gestures with both arms at the box.
What
Why?
are you-
Why didn't you just tell us that you were there? Also, does this mean that my clothes aren't here?
Acacia points one of their fingers up to say something, and then... Yeah. There was quite a bit in that box. But luckily, we put it in one of the easiest locations for everybody to gather. We put it in the... Let's see, what's a good place that... We put it in the room next to the storage of the halberds.
The bot room?
So what you're
One of the
saying
bots.
it's back on Earth.
Oh, it's in the ballroom, isn't it? I thought I
Yeah, the
saw. I thought I
ballroom.
saw a bunch of clothing in there.
Those were all my clothes, including including the fancy stuff. I don't have anything. This isn't the only thing that I have to wear. I don't have any spare underwear. Oh God. My bra is gonna be so gross by the end of this.
Ugh. Maybe you can get some new ones when we get to Camelot.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, at least we can wash it.
Yes. For now, hold on, Gwen. Elle takes off her cape and hands it over.
Oh.
Oh, that's yours. I'm not wearing your cape.
Well, it has our family crest on it, and I have my armor.
Does Elle's armor have her crest?
Yeah, it has in like a few decorative things.
Is adult Lancelot is still in shackles, right?
He has been unshackled in the meantime. And yeah, and generally yeah, he's unshackled, he has his armor on, he does not have his sword.
No, I presume that's still with Rhiannon in her pocket dimension.
Sure. So well, actually, no.
I will.
Wait, is it?
Ree gave it to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Galahad.
Ree gave it to Galahad.
Do it. I don't think any of you know
I was
that.
not aware of this, so I guess I'm not aware of this. But Gwen will give the cape to adult Lancelot.
Kind of like you put it in his hands, and apprehensively he looks towards Elle, looks towards the rest of the knights, puts it on.
I do want that back eventually.
Of course. So, are we on our way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and soon enough, everybody picks up again. This time, Rosea just pushes both knights out of the way, hoists the cart, melds with the cart, and kind of just drags it along, just, entertained.
That would have helped earlier. Thank you.
So cool.
I know.
Lily is still like every now and then just like looking at Rosea and then at, like wherever that crate is, just like, oh, how do you...
Doctor Who.
Maybe if you, Lily, maybe if you drink enough water, you can be that big.
Huh? You think so?
I don't see why not.
What does Lily require to grow now? What do you eat?
I
Sunlight.
mean, plants eat water.
I photosynthesize also. It's yeah.
So water, sunlight, and manure.
I actually don't so much need that third one, so long as I have like this dirt now. This is probably fine. This is gonna last me for a while, probably. I don't know. It's magic, so who knows, really.
I mean, if we get like water from like a holy healing spring and some dragon manure, then that would probably help make you grow very big and very strong.
I guess I'd never really thought about dragon manure to this point, because where do you even get that? Although, I guess here is where you get that, huh?
Maybe like from different places, like different springs or different types of manure might give you like additional powers. Like what if like Phoenix poop gives you like fire resistance.
Okay, so fire resistance sounds cool, but I'd really love to not have to eat poo. Personally?
Gwendolyn.
Staring at Gwen.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not how biology works.
I mean, I understand. I mean, I would hope you at least wouldn't
Gwen,
taste it. Never mind. Never mind.
look, I think Rosetta needs our help. Let's go. Come on.
Well, we'll just try it with the
Yeah,
springs.
no, let's go.
Yeah.
Gwen,
Sorry. I'm
dogs are
going.
away.
Okay, so you march through the town. Most of the citizens are... At this point, they'd be out in the fields working, but you see the occasional child looking through, running back towards their friends. There are a few people just sitting, watching. Some of the older people and like the youngest of the youngest. And you hear like whispers and stuff and kind of a sort of hurrah per se. And it seems as though things have been tense, but they're also glad to see that this force is back. And just the symbols of Avalon.
I will do the smile and wave.
Most of the people don't seem to recognize who you are. And are slightly confused at seeing... Well, you perhaps. Gwen, are you in your
wave
armor?
at people. Me?
Yeah.
No. I
You're just
don't
in
currently. I don't currently have access to that. So.
Right. Okay, so you're just wearing your modern clothes. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm not wearing a hat, because the weather. Cat ear sticking out and like looking around, waving at people. If I recognize anybody, I will just like shout out names, which probably leads to more confusion.
Yeah, definitely. You don't quite really recognize anybody in particular, I guess. This is just one of the outlying towns. There are a few
old man
awkward...
Jenkins.
An old man looks up from his from his. Oh, what would he be looking up from?
From tilling the field with his hoe.
Yeah.
And his hoe looks up too.
Damn it,
Yes.
internet. I that's what I was thinking. Eventually you make your way past. There are a few diverging paths to other small farming townships, but you see again the wall itself be looming overhead. It is of a pure white stone that again seems to shimmer the same way that Joyous Guard did. And as you approach the base, you see that this wall is almost, I'll say 50 feet? That's tall, right? I don't really have a good scope of this.
That's 15 meters. So yeah, that's like standard
That's
kaiju
big.
size.
Yeah. 15, 20 meters tall.
Wow.
And the gates themselves are open, as they normally would be. 15 to 20 meters.
I know. Sorry, I'm being silly.
Gremlin you?
That would have been something.
Oh, damn it, no. Wait, I didn't... Whatever, just... Yeah, listen to that. With your lovely ambiance. Music. As you enter the lower parts of Avalon. Hey, it worked. There are.
Ooh.
This seems to be kind of the outer rim of the city, per se, where it's less so the people who are able to live and work in the city mostly as servants to others. They live further up. These are kind of the less wealthy. The least wealthy, but not like in poverty. And as you further take the cart further inward, it is, for the most part, quiet. And the city itself appears to be less active, per se, and more on the verge. Like something, like the entire city is holding its breath as you're walking up. Eventually, you hear a bell ringing. Ding, 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 ding. Both of you recognize this as the return, as the gates to the actual castle are lifted with the chain mechanism. And you enter palace grounds as a now procession of people has started to walk behind you, sort of astonished and excited after seeing all of these knights come back and come home. Among the crowd, you see various typical people from all sorts wearing just traditional clothes. You see a woman, she's got her washpot in hand. You see another man, he's got a hammer, possibly for leather working. And you see another, this is very loud. Okay. You see another boy in robes, kind of silvery hair, staring at all of you as you pass through the gates, and they kind of go with a heavy slam as you enter the palace grounds, and it is quiet.
Too quiet?
Normally there's
Where's the welcoming committee?
a lot of squires and pages running around. There's
Yeah, where's the stable hands? I mean, okay, we don't have horses, but still.
Did anyone else notice that, like, the whole place seems like they're
Empty.
waiting for something?
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello, hello.
Merlin?
hail.
Hail, hail, hail. It echoes.
Merlin!
Merlin, Merlin, Merlin. The palace, as far as you know, is empty, and the only thing that appears to have let you in are the guards along the borders of the castle, who have now also gone back to their posts further down into the city.
where is the queen?
All of the knights
They're
look at
away.
each other and look at the rest of you, along with Acacia and Rosea.
Shall we just ask the guards that let us in here? I'm gonna go ask the guards that let us in here.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with.
We'll
Yeah,
go
let's go
ahead
along.
inside of the castle. The four of you go. Percival. It dictates to
All of us?
Yeah, the four of you go to question the guards, and we'll make sure the castle is clear of any lingering threats.
I mean, it looks pretty clear otherwise. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Things hiding in the shadows can also be hiding in plain sight.
I mean, the guards were here.
Yeah, unless you think that there's gonna be a threat coming from inside of the castle instead of from the outside.
Hey, Amon, does anything look weird to you? You can, like, see actual things, right?
Hold on, yeah.
Hey, Aman,
Deep breath.
what is your god I see?
I spy with my deific
Smirks.
eye.
And yeah. Alright, what you got for me? Let's see what's going on here, Annie. Herald is going to scan the castle with his eye.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Taking the lances to Avalon.
Is this a situation?
One assess. Coming right up.
Ooh, we gonna help that. We gonna help that.
Who gonna help that?
I will.
Alright, how are you gonna help that?
Someone boost me.
Yeah, I want to. Is there a way that, like, we could see something that, like, looks the... Or is there somewhere that, like, we should focus on looking? Like, oh, well, start by looking at that in particular, or...
You see that
different things
the
of that, like...
greenery itself actually...
I was gonna suggest can Lily sort of just... I mean, I think we're standing on, like, a dirt patch. Can Lily access, like, smaller plants that spread out across, and we can just align that information?
Yeah, there's like a series of elegantly trimmed vines that have, or one of those wall plants that reaches up.
Oh, like ivies?
Like ivies, yes. That have flowers blooming out of them fresh.
Really needed a 10 plus, but it's okay.
Yeah, so, you know, I will access sub-programs and, you know, help overlay that information.
Okay, ask your questions. Question. With your zero team in the pool.
What here is the biggest? Stop laughing, Annie.
Don't care for that laugh.
I'll tell you outright that what here is the biggest threat, you can just cross off your list, because the knights would have known, the guards would have known. It's obvious that there is no threat, per se.
Threat.
You've either beat the threat or you're too late.
Good. What? How could we best end this quickly, Work, in terms of finding out what the hell happened?
Okay. Do you go to the guards, or do you... Because
this is a...
Gwen said that you...
Yeah, I was on my way to the guards either way, so...
Yeah. This is him just taking a look first, and then we can go to the guards. Yeah.
Just a general pre. Okay.
Yes, scanning it.
Scanning.
Come on, don't let me down. What you got?
You actually see the connection between Enchantress and the Ivy thing. And you kind of sense the communication between them as your question absorbs and it relays, and then it goes through like an old-timey connection thing. How could we best end this quickly? What is this?
Fine.
The situation of not knowing what's happening.
Yeah.
Alright.
Essentially that. Maybe figure out where the goddamn hell Merlin is. But yeah, just figure out what's happening.
My mom hates the music as much as I do. Okay. So you kind of feel the communication, and Lily, as you're relaying it to Amon, let's say, you kind of hear the Ivy speak. There was something, and there was this bright flash of light that none of us could have comprehended at all. It's
Flash of light?
We saw the queen and her courtiers and the rest of the workers at the castle. They were just in that bright flash of light, they were gone, and suddenly the window to the throne room had been obscured. It had been obscured by something. We have not been able to get in, but ever since that, it has not moved. We can't quite tell what it is, but it appears to be flat against the window for the most part. Is that enough to help you?
I hope so. There was a flash of light. Do you know what made it?
We aren't quite sure. There was this large. It came after this. After one of the gardeners spoke about seeing this large beacon of sorts coming from the mountains, far west of here.
Far west. Okay. I'll.
You can pinpoint the location from. That's where you emerged.
Oh no.
It appears that
The portal.
that's not the gesture I should be making. The your entrance into Avalon, or at least the activation of the gates, sent up this bright thing of light into the sky, and then an undetermined amount of time has passed in between.
Right. Yeah. So that was gonna be my next question. Like, do you know how long ago that was? How many days?
Oh, Custard, you got a bit of voice.
Yep. There?
We can't quite find the exact amount of time it took, but frankly, we just miss the gardener. He used to take such good care of us. Please, we might think the throne room is your best shot.
The throne room? Oh, okay. We'll look there, and I'll see if we can find the gardener.
That's where we last saw the queen.
Gotcha. Thank you. Take.
Of course, my lady.
Hang in there.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm a lady.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't you have to be like knighted to be a lady?
No, that's something else.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Lady sounds so fancy. Anyway, the plants say that there was like a big flash of light, and then everyone disappeared.
Yeah.
And that we should check the throne room, and also if we can find the gardener, that would be a good bonus. Also the light came from
Where we came from.
Yeah. So
Well,
what did...
sounds like we need to go to the throne room. Either the queen is there, and we can get some answers, or the queen isn't there, and we at least know that we're not going to get answers.
There could be some clues.
At the very
Did Gwen get to talk to the guards?
Yes, Gwen, you wanted to talk to the guards.
I wish to indeed.
Alright. So you managed with ease to clamber your way up to the walls. You've done this before. You've done this hundreds of times before. And for a moment you see one of the guards like kind of like freak out and draw his spear. Stop right.
Accurate but rude.
God damn it. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Stop there.
Relax, Spearman. I just had some questions, if you don't mind.
Okay, I recognize you. You came in with the party of the night, of course. Feel free. I am at your
Okay.
service. Pierce the mask.
Okay, why do I need to pierce the mask?
Pierce the mask because some of these questions are pretty good.
Okay. It's a good thing that
Actually,
I didn't shift my
wait, before you
dateline.
pierce the mask, I'm rereading them now and I realized that was a bad idea. I'm sorry, I'm being very dumb. Give me a general mundane roll instead.
Okay. Okay. I presume I don't have influence over him?
It's a random castle guard.
Okay.
Okay. What questions do you ask?
Wait, so am I doing Pierce the Mask now or aren't I? Because
just
I
what
wasn't
questions in general
Oh,
outside of Pierce the
okay.
Mask. Just so you can,
Okay.
get some good answers from this guard deed.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask. You've let us in, so I figure you know what is going on here in the castle, right? You're up to date on like the general goings on here.
For the most part, yes.
So why does it seem like the castle is basically empty? There's no squires running around, no pages, no not stage hands, stable hands.
Well, I'm afraid I don't quite know a lot because I was not on I was not on duty. I was in the lower town when this happened, but there was suddenly there were people shouting from outside of the tavern that there was this large beacon of light, and then there's this crack through the sky, and of course, despite being off duty, I went outside to potentially gauge what was going on, and it was strange. There was this large pillar shining through the sky, clear as day, and then there was nothing. It was strange. I don't quite recall everything. It's kind of... My memory's been a blur for the past few days or so.
So you've just continued to do your job without anybody really telling you how to do it or what to do?
Well,
No people talking to you? Except other guards?
of course, the captain gave us orders, but... in times of emergency, we were instructed to always follow our posts, and to keep everything at the very least in a state of control in case people have gone missing. And now, well, as you can see, the entire palace has gone missing, and we fear it may have something to do with the bright eruption that apparently Merlin had cast before, after that bright light had shone through the sky. I still can't place how long it has been between those two, but that's all I know.
Right, of course. So where was this bright flash?
He kind of tries to point, and you see kind of the similar mountain you were on, and now you start to recognize this mountain more. You never really scaled it from where you emerged from the cave. You've only really ever been at the base for hunting, since it's mostly predators that live up there, and they come down to hunt, so there wasn't really much cause to go up there. And then he kind of turns back and, this light, this great eruption of light that came from the palace, it came from somewhere inside, and it shone through almost as if the entire thing from the interior was glowing.
The interior of the palace. Okay.
I'm afraid that's all
All
I can
right.
provide. I'm sorry.
No, that is quite all right, my good man. That will give us something to go off of, a lead, as you might say.
Good.
But you carry on with your day and your guarding, and we'll have a chat later if need be.
Thank you. And stay safe, milady. And he goes and kind of walks across the rest of the perimeter of the wall. And both of these things finish up at about the same time, so it's like you're all converging, I guess. Elle, in the meantime, what were you doing, I guess?
Just kind of. I think Elle would be kind of just looking around and seeing how much has changed in like the 21.7 years that she hasn't been to this place. Like what's the same and what's different, and she's kind of like, when she sees something different, she's like, is that like a new thing, or when did that change? Am I misremembering things? Etc. So she's a little distracted. I don't think she's paying a lot of attention to it.
Okay. So yeah, you're kind of looking around. You see, like, oh, that spire hasn't been there before, and those houses look new and possibly upgraded. Things basically been built up, I guess, in the next generation of sorts. Yeah, over the past 20 years, not a lot has changed, but it's just enough to look different. And soon enough, your friends, come back in more ways than one, let's say. And what do the four of you do?
I guess relay what we've found out, and it sounds like there's like a consensus. Oh, we should go to the throne room.
Definitely need to check that out.
Yes, we should definitely adjourn to the courtroom, see what has happened there, considering the guard said that some flash came from it.
Gwen?
Gwen, are you okay?
Yeah?
Yes, I'm quite fine. What do you ask?
You used the word adjourn.
Yeah, and also you have a like English accent now. Wait, do you always sound like this?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Before?
I had forgotten that. I had forgotten that people sound kind of strangely posh around here, and I guess I kind of like reverted to my old accent.
Had an old accent?
Well, that's nice. That's not a problem.
You know, Annie, I'm not throwing shade at you. I'm just going like, it makes sense for somebody returning to like where they came from to like revert to their old accent.
Oh, definitely.
Gwendolyn?
Yes?
Hey, do you remember there being a tree over there? Elle kind of points into a corner next to the stables where there is not a tree.
There's not a tree? Oh, okay. Vaguely, maybe? I remember there being one over there, and she pointed.
Yeah, well, no, it's fine. Where did you say we should go?
The throne room?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, let's go then.
Lead the way.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. I will.
That should still be in the same place, right?
Yes.
Possibly.
You can't really move the throne room that easily. I'm sorry. Yeah. Just follow me. I will head off.
Alright. So yeah, you make your way through the entrance. Doors are the same. the hall, the entrance hall is the same, because you were basically in the courtyard. You kind of go through a few hallways. Things have been moved around, but not by much, since these castles didn't really change over the course of 21 years and basically one generation. It hasn't really changed that much. Occasionally you get lost on some signs, but you do make your way to the throne room, and the doors themselves are closed, but you see that they are embroidered with just the most elegant carving of just everything that the let's say everything that the ruling family represents. So there's scenes of like a hunt, there's scenes of winning a war, of course there's a banner, and there are two the doors themselves extend partially out into hands, sort of almost welcoming in from two figures of indiscernible gender, with long flowing robes. And the hands themselves kind of spread out to reaching out to, almost as if you could take their hand and push, and they lead you into the room.
Strange. Usually there's at least some guards here and a chamberlain to announce you, but
it's empty. The entire castle
I
is
guess-
empty.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just head in. If
I mean-
the queen gets upset about it, she's been upset at me before, it doesn't last. I'll just open the door.
I mean, we do have a herald, at least.
As you open the door, it kind of open into the hall, and you see it.
Oh,
There
what do we see?
is a throne. Next to it, another throne of different design, as well as a slightly smaller throne pushed forward slightly to the right. To the right of the main large throne. And behind it, where both of you would normally recognize the window, there is a large tapestry. Maybe, let me see. That's maybe 20 feet tall, covering the entire window. And light casts through the tapestry almost like stained glass, projecting colors and light all through the throne room. There are 4 columns, of course keeping it up, that's what you remember. And the throne room is barren, empty.
So there are 3 thrones, you said?
There are 3 thrones, one of them being kind of the most imposing, the second one being the same height to the left of it, aka on your right. And it is embroidered slightly differently, and then there's the other throne on the right of the main one that's slightly smaller. You know that this is where the king, the queen, and the prince sat.
Okay.
What's on the tapestry?
Alright. Do you all enter the room?
Yeah, carefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like looking around for stuff to plant said whatever the fuck
Keeping
happened
an eye
after
out.
here.
Boss metal music starts playing.
Hello. Announcing
Announcing
myself, I
myself,
guess.
Didn't you-
I guess.
Didn't the other knights say they were coming this way? Are they
You knew
Anybody
that
seen
they were exploring around the castle to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be around here.
Queen Guinevere?
No response.
Gwen?
And Herald, you asked what's on the tapestry.
Yeah.
You actually see this. The first thing that's immediately noticeable is the large figure of a woman. Her hair is long and straight, brown, and it curls around waist length slightly, kind of fading into a slight rose color. You see she's pointing one finger? Let me see. She's pointing a spear, or a lance, pointing it straight towards the sky. There's the telltale sign that there's blood dripping down on it, into kind of a pool on the tapestry and the scenery, at the base. And she stands in full regalia, but this time it's got armor on it. There's various segments of plate armor extending down onto the skirt. And you see her open right palm pointing towards the throne. Her crown itself has 5 gems that appear to be sewn on. At first glance, and you see the light plays off of them. They're real, and they're pretty large. And in the background, you see crowds, scores of people, all of them in different professions, all of them kind of looking up towards, in that kind of impossible angle of stacking heads, like one row and then another row and then another row, not actual literal heads. They're all looking to her, as the extended right palm points towards the throne, the spear lance aimed up at the sky, and the crown of jewels.
Does that mean anything?
Do we recognize the figure?
You recognize it to be Queen Guinevere.
Okay. That is quite gruesome.
Well, it doesn't look like she stabbed anyone with it, but
I mean, there's a pool of blood,
yeah,
so...
Is she
as there normally is.
usually like that?
Well, I knew her as quite a bit younger than this. I always thought she would grow up beautiful.
I knew that she was generally a pretty shy girl, kind of reserved.
I don't really remember this particular Guinevere to have been like a warrior queen of sorts. She did turn out pretty well with even with crow's feet.
There was some kind of war while you two were gone, and that's why people are kind of antsy throughout the town down below.
Yeah, I
Makes
guess.
sense.
But
I have no idea what's going on. The castle is never this quiet. The throne room is never unoccupied.
Yeah, there's usually at least one person here to receive, or like at least messages.
I guess it doesn't explain why there's no one here.
Whatever that beacon of light there, that seems like a
Yeah.
lost world.
Yeah. So, shall we try and find out what that beacon of light was and what it did?
Yeah, the
If you're up
plan
for
said
it.
our clues should be here. Something at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we missing?
I mean, if you think you can find some clues around here. as long as they didn't vanish with the light itself.
Okay, if someone is exploring, then give me a general superior roll.
Let me take a look around.
Alright.
General superior? How do I do a flat just superior?
Just click on
You just roll superior, just like rolling for assess a situation or provoke someone.
Okay. Womp womp.
Oof.
Oh, you don't have tea.
Potential. I was actually gonna do something else.
Oh, well, if you had something... Okay. Well, if you had something in mind, this is also what's playing in, the background, I guess. The name
Oh,
is
jeez.
misleading. I'm gonna be honest, the name is misleading, but I like the
Narrow
sound.
eyes.
Herald turns around, Gwen is sitting on the throne.
Bloody
I mean,
sword
no.
in hand.
Herald walks up to the throne and sits down. But no.
Do you?
No. He is going to approach it though. Just running his eye over it. What I wanted to do was, you know, when things are too weird, there's always that one very fun move.
Yeah, there is.
And it's around the center of the room where Herald starts to float slightly. And can I use out of this world to just plug out? Hone in on this room. If this is where the plants led us,
Yeah.
then there's something here. Eyes closed.
Eyes are
What did I
closed.
roll?
Not one.
Okay. Oh, hey!
Nice.
Yeah, I was thinking Gwen at one point would try to use retro cognize.
Yeah, I was gonna do that, like on Guinevere's throne or something. So.
Go ahead.
Hey, you have this thing. First, you ask your question or do your
Yeah.
thing. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna steal your thunder.
Lightning and the thunder. Alright, let me just... Come on, don't crash on me now.
Not crashing.
There we go. On a 10 plus, you can also imagine understanding. Okay, so you tune out, and as soon as you embrace the magic of the eye, you reach out and you feel the connection to the eye. But as you connect, you feel that connection is interrupted, and you almost hear a voice saying, "Well, this is interesting." As your connection is suddenly overridden by another intense wave of magic. As you hear again, "Let's give this a shot." As suddenly your brain is kind of overtaken, and you see the 5 gems floating, kind of lost in this ethereal white, casting different lights emanating into nowhere. And you hear a chorus starting low, and then it shifts up and up and up. It builds more and more on itself. And you see the lights themselves, the gems themselves arrange into a series of the four of the gems. Let me see. A blue, a red, a yellow, and a green shoot beams up, and they all, as you look up, they converge onto one, a pure diamond that takes the light and it shines in brilliance, and you almost see a silhouette of sorts And that's where your vision begins to fade back into the throne room. And you find yourself standing in the middle of it.
Shift your labels.
Please, what do I
Does the GM have to say that?
I'm not
You
sure.
can also shift your own labels according.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
the GM only does it on a miss.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Then plus you can also shift your labels according to match your new understanding.
Yep.
That was freaky. Can't push freak any higher. So that was also bad. Someone else took control of the eye. Danger up. And very friendly. So I'd say savior down. Because he set out to help, and that's not doing a whole lot of helping. As Herald comes back and falls to his knees, essentially.
I will rush over and catch him before he hits the ground.
Oh, as you faint into Elle's arms.
He holds on to Elle, like,
Careful, the stone in the throne room is kind of uncomfortable.
yeah, no, someone broke my connection to the eye, like, took over.
What?
Yeah, someone, I don't know, that wasn't the eye showing me what it normally can do, that was someone else. And, he's going to recount the rest of it, like, with the stones and the diamond and all of that.
Alright.
That sounds like the stones in the Queen's. Sound like the stones in the Queen's crown, but I don't know what the rest of that means.
The ones in the tapestry? Or
That's
the
what
actual
they look
crown?
like.
Do you think there was the stones in that are in the tapestry, or different ones, like the ones in her actual crown?
I don't know. I've never seen the Queen's crown up close.
Right.
But-
Yeah.
Herald, if
Yeah.
if this person can access your eye, can they? Are you in danger right now?
I don't know, that shouldn't be happening.
Do you?
Oh, sorry.
Go
Go ahead.
Do
Go
you
for it.
think? Do you think they'll be able to watch through you or through the eye?
I hope not. No,
Do you think you could try to use, I don't know, the fact that they made contact with you to try to track them now?
I don't know. I don't know. I could. I'd have to. I need to think this through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You should
Yeah,
give him some time. That
right.
sounds
sorry.
like a very traumatic thing that just happened. So
Just sit down for a moment. Not on the throne.
don't touch the throne.
Yeah, no, floor. Floor will do.
Okay.
But I'll be okay. I can take a break later. We gotta figure
I
this out
mean-
right now.
I had been planning on touching the throne, but in a different way. So
Mm.
if you're all ready, then I'm gonna do that.
Ready as
Yeah.
you'll ever be. Nothing here makes any sense.
Okay. So,
Well, let's take a look at what happened, shall we?
okay. Gwen, you touch the throne.
Yeah.
Unleash your powers.
I presume that I do not have influence over the throne.
You do not.
Noise.
That's an 11.
All right. Yeah, no, piece of cake. Compared to Herald's. You, which throne do you touch?
I mean, I want to go for the one that I presume to be Guinevere's, but in this case, considering Arthur has been gone for like 9 years and dead for a while, I think I would touch like the middle one.
Okay, so like the actual King Arthur's throne, the one who died.
Yeah, I presume that Guinevere would have been sitting in that one, unless I know enough about like Guinevere's personality that she would be waiting for Arthur to come back regardless
Oh,
and
no,
just
she'd be waiting.
sit in. So in that case, I just touch like the other one, the one to the left.
Yeah. Okay. So you feel along the armrest. It's well worn, sat, and as you activate retrocognition, you're kind of thrown back almost immediately. The physical sensation also coming over you. As you kind of emerge back into seeing all of these different flashes of scenes through the years. And you feel cold, long fingers push against your temple. And for a moment, you freeze. And you're guided as you hear a voice in your ear. Not in your ear per se, but more generally surrounding you as a whole. Here. Perhaps this will guide you somewhere. And suddenly your mind focuses and it's almost like the frame snaps onto one series of kind of playing in speed motion. You see Guinevere standing outside looking out the window as a procession of carts leave the castle, and she goes back, she turns to the throne, she sits on hers and begins to do the business as usual, taking over Arthur's duties. And over the course of time, you see the sun kind of go, one of those time lapses where it's people zooming in and out of the room. Guinevere is still sitting. Occasionally she disappears, and then reappears, and then disappears. But at the same time you see steel resolve in her eyes, focused and narrowed. And eventually they become more and more so. Because beforehand they were more of a kind of gentle, laid back, but over time you sense that they become more hard and more difficult until eventually she disappears from the throne as this time lapse continues. And instead of the regular finery that she wears, it is a almost battle ready dress with the armor that you saw on the tapestry. And she sits back and the business continues until the frame eventually slows down to a slightly faster, but it slows down to a messenger bringing in something, and she like straightens up and looks and turns back to the window, and that's where you see the beacon of light as another day cycles through, and another, until eventually the sky itself turns black. And you see people entering and filing into the room. You recognize most of the palace, or most of the castle, people who work in the castle, entering. And you see her looking around before she gives a nod off from where you can see, as she holds up a lance, and the tip itself begins to glow and glow and glow until eventually a bright light encompasses the entire room and emanates out, to the point where you're again blinded by white. And then when it fades back in again, everybody in the room is gone, and the tapestry has been placed over. Or the tapestry appears to have taken its place over the window.
Okay. So the others also saw this?
Do you want the others to have also seen this?
I'm perfectly okay with that, so I think that makes it a lot easier.
The rest of you see all of this happen.
So
Did she turn herself into the tapestry?
it almost sounds like that.
And so are all of the other people from the castle the other people in the tapestry?
Do I recognize anyone other than Guinevere on the tapestry? Maybe like a 21-year-old version, older version of someone I know, but still.
A bit? Yeah. Gwen, they definitely look familiar to you now that you can see and discern their faces from the art. You don't see Deirdre there.
Okay. Phew.
It's mostly mostly the workers, and yeah, Elle, you recognize a few. It's like, oh yeah, he really grew into that face.
Quick question: Do I see anybody who looks like they might be around 12 years old?
You see maybe 3 or 4 kids. Most of them like 8 or 9. Some of them up to 12. They look like squires and pages, I guess. You don't recognize any of them.
I mean, obviously not, because my siblings were like 3 when I was 4, but...
I think you'd still recognize some features, probably.
Probably some things, like some bit of the face shape, or like hair color, maybe at least. Actually, hair color can darken a lot, so...
I look almost like... to be fair, when I was 3 years old versus what I look like now, I look almost no different, just like a slightly older version of a 3-year-old.
I used to look a lot more smug, but yeah.
If this is some sort of magic thing, and Merlin isn't here, then I know of only one other person I trust to talk to this about.
Mother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see her in the tapestry.
No, and I'm very glad about that.
Yes.
I don't see my siblings either.
Mm-hmm.
You have siblings?
Yes. I thought I mentioned... I've mentioned them before. Rian definitely knows about them. Have I not mentioned them to you before?
Another time. Yeah. Well,
I mean, if we're going to go ask my mother for help, my siblings will likely be there as well.
yeah, I will deal with that when that happens. Are the 2 of you okay with this?
Of course. I mean, what?
Yeah.
But also, where is Merlin if he's not here?
I think
called
I think
us.
he has some tower in the castle somewhere, but it's impossible to find unless you're summoned by him.
So,
Isn't he
is
the one
he
who called us
just...
to Avalon in the first place? Can't he?
Yeah.
Why? I see why you guys don't like him.
Is he just being a dick and like, trying to get us to find him or something? Or did something actually happen? Because it better be that.
You hear a knock on the door.
The door to the throne room?
Yes.
I'll open it.
Who is it? Who is it?
You hurl the doors open because these are pretty heavy.
It's Percival.
I'm pretty strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair
Both those things.
fair counterpoint. You see, again, one of it. He appears. He's got these long flowing robes, let's say, and he looks to be in his early 20s. Kind of wavy, silver hair that kind of sticks out every odd and end. And he's standing there, his arms crossed, kind of a slightly sour look on his face.
Galahad?
No, it's not Galahad. No.
Merlin?
Wow.
What did you say? Custard?
Merlin? 20-year-old, silver hair?
Do you say that in character?
No. Looking at him.
Do it. Do it.
Okay, fine, sure. Merlin?
It took you long enough.
Oh no.
I mean, I was about to say he doesn't look old enough, but he's definitely sour enough.
Yeah, I didn't believe it until I heard the voice.
And
We've been here hours.
exactly.
You couldn't have met us when we went through the portal?
I could have. But well,
But you didn't.
no. And he kind of walks in. He goes into his robe and takes out this wand, let's say. That it's almost like a twig. And as he takes it out, it looks like it's a weird perspective shift that it grows and grows in size until it's eventually a full-sized staff. Have you brought me my focus?
We have it among us.
Mm-hmm. Do the other knights know you're here yet?
Of course, they met me maybe an hour ago.
Hour?
And they just left us out of this?
Well, they've been busy rallying the guard outside.
Right, I don't know why I would expect anyone to ever let me in on anything. It's not like I'm one of the knights or anything. It's fine.
He looks at you for a moment and, like, the rest of you see that, like, despite looking like just some 20-something college kid, his eyes are, for a moment, they appear impossibly ancient, and they're kind of this similar silver color to his hair, but you see as they kind of shift slightly in color. And he looks at you curiously. Interesting.
Yeah.
Just back at it again.
Herald's going to pull down his hood and just stare at fix Merlin in his gaze, both eyes. What happened here?
Well, that certainly is a story.
Are you gonna tell us the story?
Because that would be helpful.
Perhaps another
Yeah.
time. In the
Oh my
meantime,
gosh.
in the meanwhile, where is my focus?
I mean, if you ran into the other knights, didn't they give it to you? Do we have it or do they have it?
That's me
Okay.
being dumb. My bad. Sorry.
It's okay,
Alright.
Merlin.
I'm sorry. I'm not an
That's
omniscient
going
wizard.
to happen
Sorry.
in your old age. That's just going to happen when you get that old.
Leave me alone. Okay, so it's just kind of he takes a few steps, kind of walking around all of you, kind of circling around before he steps outside and reemerges holding. They gave it to me, but I didn't expect that you would all break it. And you see that there is a very visible black crack in it as he lifts
I didn't
it
do it.
up.
Okay, first of all, we didn't all break it.
That's admitting that some of you broke it.
I mean, I don't know who broke it, but it certainly wasn't our group. I mean, when we found it in Paris, it was fine.
You have
It
it,
was
don't
whole
you?
the last time I saw it, and perhaps, perhaps if we hadn't had to defend it against both Morgan Le Fay and the largest dragon I've ever seen, then it would still be whole.
He slots it back into the thing, and immediately the staff itself turns from a kind of ashy brown, slightly moldy looking twig into this resilient, almost metallic staff that has all these different veins of kind of gold leading up through, and it's a very deep, saturated kind of brown, almost contracting with the staff. Well, you better clear the way, because there are lots of... There's a rather large group that is about to appear. As...
You're
Clear
gonna,
clear which way?
you're gonna get them out of the tapestry?
Yeah, he takes the staff, points it towards the tapestry, and the gems themselves, you see there's a diamond in the middle, there are... there's the red, there's the green, and there's the yellow and the blue ones on the side, on kind of surrounding part on her crown. And suddenly, another bright white light. Wow. As the same silhouette that you saw from your vision steps out along with a crowd of people kind of emerging into the sides, all figures of white light, kind of expanding throughout the throne room. Some of them appear to even filter and trickle out slightly, and you're kind of all getting like shoved up partially as they're filtering through, before eventually the throne room has beings, the same kind of figures standing in certain positions, and in front, the brightest. Eventually, all of the light fades as Guinevere, holding her lance, kind of takes a breath forward and kind of blinks and steps forward. And she looks around.
Holy shit.
How do you all react?
Elle goes onto one knee and bows her head. Says, "My queen."
Oh, right. And Gwen does the same. After like a bit of like just admiring Guinevere.
And moments after that, I'm on
Nudges, yeah. Literally like nudges him on. We're like, bowing.
Bowing, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
As you all bow for Merlin, of course, bows his head, but he does not bow all the way. And you hear a soft, but firm. That's a contradiction. A gentle but firm voice. Rise.
Okay.
Standing up.
And there, before you see Guinevere. As you hear kind of the in everything is silent in the throne room, despite there being a large crowd of people and guards, and for a moment everything is in every breath is held as this starts playing. Okay. And what do you do?
Hail and your Majesty.
What happened here, McQueen?
There was
We
an
arrived
attack.
only to find the palace empty. An attack?
Yes. I'm afraid that we were able to repel all of the forces that came, but the only way to guarantee our safety was to seal everyone away quickly. And our allies, they were also here. We have ambassadors and assisting rulers from all over, from south across the sea, from the farthest of east. And we were putting together an army for when she came. But Morgana had caught us off guard. After we had proper warning after that pillar of light shone through, and we knew that Merlin's call must have worked. And you had all gathered. All of the legendary artifacts. And, well, you're standing before us now. So...
Morgan did get here before us.
yes.
Has she done anything since she returned?
All that we could discern was that she had headed north, far north, past the Ashwood. But
Past the Ashwood. What is past the Ashwood?
Ashwood Forest.
Yeah, but what is past there?
Past into the thorned
is
wastes.
Is that still Avalon?
Yes. It's in the realm of Albion.
Right, okay. I haven't heard much of that place. Al, have you?
I've been once. But did she have a dragon with her?
She did not.
That's
Good.
at least some good news then. Even if Morgana made it here, if the dragon was left behind, that's a significant weight off our shoulders.
I mean, it will make Morgana easier to deal with here, but that does mean that the dragon is still on Earth.
We don't know what has happened to the dragon. We don't even know if it truly is a dragon at this point.
Why? What do you mean?
It turned into a person.
Oh,
Night that last we saw it was like attached to the arch.
And it had Excalibur.
Oh my
the dragon had Excalibur?
Yes.
Lily just nods.
I thought it might have been Art, but didn't respond when I said his name.
The rest of the knights eventually come in and they bow. Guinevere holds. If God's servants, you all dismissed as they trickle out of the room. And the doors close and seal shut behind, not seal, but they close shut behind you, and the rest is just the knights. Acacia, Rosea. No, not Acacia, not Rosea. Just the knights, you and Guinevere.
And Merlin?
And Merlin, yes. Of course, Merlin. Where's Arthur?
Gal?
Galahad usually wears this kind of heavy, stoic expression, but now it's just kind of, now it's more suppressing.
Are you... Art is gone.
She puts a hand up to her mouth. Kind of takes a breath, closes her eyes, sits down back on her throne, kind of leaning into it partially. And what of our son?
Elle goes wide-eyed.
Galahad steps up and kind of looks towards you, Gwen.
What are you looking at me for?
He nods. Kind of, for the first time, it's strange. She puts a gauntleted hand on your shoulder. The prince has gone missing. And we're afraid we don't know where he is. It's at this point she lets out an audible kind of her. She's like trying to hold back tears. Her eyebrows are furrowed.
I didn't know about this.
Me neither. Pointed look at Galahad. Like, my best friend had a son and you didn't tell me.
This means that the last time that I saw him was... Oh god. That was years ago.
She kind of...
Perhaps we should give the queen some space?
No. There's business to be done. We can mourn after Morgana's gone.
Right, of course. Of
Gwen.
course.
Actually, no, all of you saw this. You saw that the same kind of heaviness, kind of the burden. She kind of like stands up from the throne, and her eyes harden even further, and they are targeted. The four of you, Gwendolyn, I recognize, and I can't even begin. She looks at you, Elle.
I would hope you'd still recognize me.
This is truly a day of emotions. We must speak more of this over the next week of planning. Nights rise as they come up from there. I guess they've re-kneeled again once she rose. And what of the two of you? And she looks towards you, Herald, and Enchantress.
We're here to help.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we'll do everything we can.
She doesn't know your names.
We should really get better about this. I'm sorry, Queen Guinevere.
Right.
This is Herald, who I'm announcing. So I realize the irony in that.
It's truly a name.
He has a power from ancient Egypt, and this is Enchantress, who, as you can see, is holds power over nature. You could say.
Yes. And Enchantress, she looks at you, and her eyes kind of gleam for a moment as she nods her head towards you. Truly a spirit to behold.
I think Lily's just like frozen like a deer in headlights. I imagine that's a pretty powerful look.
Yeah.
And one more time once again she says, the magic of the Fae is powerful. Powerful. And you are truly an embodiment of it.
Thank
She
you.
extends a hand. May I?
Are you sure you want to? I mean,
Just
yes.
Lily.
Does one have a doubt to Queen? She says, kind of with a slight sly smile.
Sure.
Okay.
So we would just like put out some like branches towards her, and is just like looking at everyone else like, what is happening? Did I fuck this up?
Thumbs up.
Encouraging smile from Elle.
Yeah.
You extend some vines into the palm of her hand, and she kind of cups it for a moment. Truly magnificent. You are a sight to behold.
I don't know what a plant blushing looks like, but that's probably happening.
A plant blooming.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some like flowers that bloom on your cheek.
Extra flowers.
Yeah.
Oh.
What flowers do you associate with Guinevere?
Oh man, I don't know.
What are royal flowers? Is it just like golden roses or
Like
something?
irises, I think.
Irises.
If
Irises
it's
and roses.
French royalty, it's like fleur de lis, but
Yeah, a fleur de
That's
lis.
more-
It is lilies.
oh my god.
Lily. Yeah.
Blushes and
Let's go with
lilies.
lilies. That'd be amazing. She kind of
Are there
lets your arm, your tendrils go to kind of retract. And she turns towards you, Herald. And
Stiffens.
you bring news. I've heard many a story of Horus and Nimue and Merlin and many powerful beings. You are his messenger?
In a way, it chose me.
Intriguing. You can see sight beyond sight.
He nods.
She holds her palm out so that she holds her hand so that you can like take in like the typical where you bring her hand to your lips and stuff, but or do you take her hand?
Yeah. It takes him like half a second before he takes it.
Before,
Looks at Gwen awkwardly.
before you can like bring it up,
Thumbs up.
she twists your. She doesn't like break your arm, but she kind of turns your hand so that now it's your the top of your hand kind of facing.
Yeah. He pauses, looks confused. I'm not very familiar or sure of what I'll be doing right now.
Many things have broken tradition. And you need not worry, messenger. No.
Thanks.
Have no fear and trust in this power. She
Yeah.
kind of like glances over to Merlin, kind of just like gives him like the bruh look. I guess that's the best way to describe it in Gen Z terminology. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And his resolve is strengthened. Of course.
Have trust in your bond. You need not worry. And she kind of puts her other hand over yours. Her hand is like cool to the touch, but it's not like cold. It's got that kind of embrace to it, I guess.
He's, I guess, used with both his closest friends are sort of cold to the touch.
Oh. And so eventually she kind of squeezes your hand a bit and then lets go and kind of crosses her fingers again.
Speaking of Merlin, if I may ask, what happened?
What happened in terms of what?
Well, I recognize that I should be the last person to say this, but he looks a little young.
His kind of scowl that you recognize to be the Merlin trademark scowl kind of like quirks up a bit.
Hey, there's our Merle.
Gwendolyn. Every
Merle.
cycle, things change. And perhaps if you desire to see me in the clothes and the body of a shambling old man, then it is what you will receive. And he takes his fingers and snaps for a moment, and suddenly, like, everybody's vision just goes, what? before you see the typically the expected Merlin come forth, I guess. Old
Pointy
man,
hat and everything.
wizard robes. This time, instead of like standing up straight and kind of just standing up straight with like good posture, he's kind of like hunched over, still kind of arms crossed partially with his staff. Is this what you expected?
It's what I remember. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that you can change your appearance and chose to be an old man for all of those years.
You are very interesting indeed. Nevertheless, he turns around and kind of spins and nearly whacks Percival with his staff, but like he manages to like dodge out of the way for a moment. He kind of brushes something out of the air, and the doors they fly open. Not with like a crash, but more of a just easy opening. And starts just walking down the hallway.
Well,
Wait, did Merlin just leave?
that's Merlin. You've met him now.
I don't see why you don't like him.
Yeah, don't worry. If we're lucky, we don't need to interact with him too much.
I'll be
At least
right
directly.
back. Runs after Merlin.
What?
Herald?
Come on.
I'll explain later.
Well, Guinevere
Okay.
chimes up. I would like to have a word with the knights in private. I will see to all of you in but a moment, but for now. And she kind of gestures towards the door. With
Right,
a
of course.
But
Lily and I will see you later, Elle.
Yep.
okay.
We'll just be around.
Gwen makes like a big point that of like Elle is going to stay here.
of course. She kind of gestures towards the adults.
Yes, my queen.
If you could grant us a moment, I would love to know exactly everything that transpired to... I don't understand. Bring you here. But perhaps we may do it over an evening meal.
I kind
now.
of looks at Percival and Galahad. Okay. I guess if you are all wanting to treat me as a squire, I will just go polish some armor. See you later.
Excuse me, your Highness, Majesty.
Yes, my dear?
If you want to know everything that happened, you should probably want Elle to stay. She was there for a lot of it, and that's an extra set of eyes and ears and thoughts that can at least help fill out the picture. Why? She's a knight just like the rest.
Yes. If
Hi.
you require all the knights, then you should have all the knights.
Points at Gwen, like, yo.
Gwen is kind of like staring at her father, like, why won't you defend yourself?
Lancelot is actually not in the room.
God damn it.
Double want Elle here. What?
And if my father isn't here, well, then you should at least want Lancelot here. And he gestures at Elle.
Well, Galahad stands up and kind of looks at all of you sternly starting to look a bit more pissed off now. Just this concerns the authority. So you should all leave.
Respectfully speaking, Sir Galahad, we're already here. We don't have a super great idea of what's going on, and we're not going to get a better idea of what's going on if you keep leaving us out of what's happening. Elle has information that you guys might not, or she may have seen things that you guys might not have, and even if she didn't, then at least by sitting in with the Knights of the Round Table, of which they are one, then we'll all get to know what happened.
Provoke.
Why are you leaving them out?
Pro-fucking-voke.
Can I persuade with best interest? Because technically it is in his best interest to have Elle there.
Whoa. Whoa.
Spicy!
That's an 8.
Not
Let's
bad.
see. On 7 to 9, they need concrete reassurance right now. Whatever that means. But I'm trying to get them to
Summon
do
your
is
armor and sword.
include Elle in this.
I already have my armor and sword out.
What
What
Elle
more
could
concrete
do
proof do they need?
is what Elle could do is tell them something that the knights weren't present for that is pertinent to this.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like from
Yeah.
one of your encounters with Morgana, maybe.
Yeah, like Galahad wasn't in Paris.
Hmm.
I don't believe Morgana is working alone. Other than the dragon, I mean. I saw her with someone else.
Oh my.
I don't know how often all of you have faced Morgana in the last 20 years, but I've fought her a number of times now, and I should hope that speaks for something. If you're not going to count the opinions of Nimue, if you're not going to count the opinions of the places, the people and the places that got me these powers and these weapons, if you're not going to keep into account the long line of knights that I am from, then at least do you have so many people that have had first-hand experience with fighting Morgana that you can truly discount my experience? I know I might not really be the Lancelot you expect or want to be here, but you all remember me as having been like this. I certainly hope you don't remember me as being entirely untrustworthy at this age. So why not trust me? Is there some particular reason that you want to keep me out of this?
It concerns you. Galahad looks back. Kinda looks down, waves a hand. Of course. We will need all the information that you can get from these encounters. Guinevere nods. Very well then. And she gestures off to a door on the side. We can discuss things further in the war room. And a servant comes in, goes, opens the door, and soon enough everybody shuffles in. And as are you, Elle?
Looks immensely gratefully at the rest. About thank you.
And the door closes with a in the now empty throne room yet again, as servants start coming in, guards start coming in and taking their posts. What do the two of you actually, do you go to try and catch up with Herald?
I think after the door closes, we kind of like breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, just
We high five.
yeah, big high five. Just yes.
That was tense for a moment. Honestly, I'm glad that Elle was so diplomatic there. I think I would have said some real bad stuff otherwise.
Yeah,
I mean,
I just really hope they don't take out my rudeness on them.
Oh, don't worry. If you are ever rude to them, then that must be that I am dead, because I would be doing so much worse. I've never known you to be rude, Lily.
Whew. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to talk to queens like that, but still.
Yeah. I think I need to talk to Guinevere about something later. But speaking of talking, we should go catch up with Herald, because he ran off after Merlin, I think.
Does that mean we're gonna have to talk to Merlin too?
Hopefully not, but I mean, at least it's Herald. It's not like it's Fredo.
Whoa.
Oh, is he so bad? I only met him the one time, but he seemed okay at least. And
Oh,
I assume we're having this conversation like on our way out.
Oh yeah, you're totally having this conversation on the way out, and it kind of drifts into babble as the camera kind of starts zooming past down the hallway, down the stairs, down another flight, then it goes through another hallway, then through like a painting, like another hallway covered in paintings of like past kings and queens, and eventually catches up on you, Herald. Kind of you're running behind, chasing after Merlin. How the hell is an old man this fast to have lost you already? Yeah. And eventually you emerge and go into another staircase, and another staircase, and another staircase, and you're eventually reaching the top, and you're like, I'm hyperventilating. I should not do that. Until eventually you reach the doorway of some kind of landing, I guess. Whew, that was
Okay.
I just heard a car on the highway. Kind of scream. That was loud.
Yeah, no. His feet had touched the ground. And like you said, there's a door and
Yes.
nothing else.
Yeah, it's just a simple door with one of those, like, loop things.
Yeah, just looks around.
Just in a
Checks the door before knocking.
It's open and it.
Merlin?
Took you long enough, boy. Come in here.
No. Hey, never mind. Yeah, he'll enter.
Okay, and you enter, and you see this sprawling, kind of almost laboratory, but most of that is kind of off to the sides, as you see Merlin kind of tapping his foot impatiently, with one hand, both hands now, like, on the spear. He's, like, up on the balcony, that you can't quite see where it leads off to.
Like, can Herald just float over
Alright.
to him? Yeah.
You children, and you're floating. And he slams the staff down, and suddenly your feet are planted on the ground.
Wait, how'd you do that?
It is simple. Now, are you going to help me with this? Or am I supposed to reconstruct it myself?
Whoa, wait, hold on. You think I'm here to help with the focus?
Of course not the focus. I won't let you near this thing again. And as you kind of step forward through the doorway, Gwen and Enchantress, you managed to catch up just in time. Time is weird. And
Okay,
you see
dramatic
timing as you all kind of you all end up walking into the same lab, I guess, of sorts. And as you step out further and onto the balcony, and Merlin gestures, well, you turn and you see this sleek, elegant hull of a ship. And on the back you see elegantly embroidered in
Whoa.
silver, almost as though it were floating, the Pridwin. And you see the three masts three masts. The largest of the masts is missing a sail, while the other two have the same one. And you see, as you look down, it is not in the water. It is very gently hovering in the sky, 200 feet above the water. And that's where we'll end for today.
I'm tired.
Oh my god, is that the Prid one?
It is.
Okay, conversation next session.
Yep. For now, we will do the end of credits and end of session notes.
Okay.
I know, I'm so sorry you're tired.
It's okay. No, you're fine. I'm suddenly
Let's start with you,
thinking I went
Custard.
fully into this.
Did you
When
go
it's like
close?
over and suddenly like, yes, go closer, do help.
Aw, thank
Aw.
you. Okay, I think I already have influence over you. Let me just check where you are. I sure do.
That's a label
do.
shifting.
Let's see. Freak down mundane up?
Okay.
Oh.
Just got chills, I'm sorry.
Sure. Done.
Okay.
Okay.
Gwendolyn?
I think I grew closer to Lily.
Oh. Okay.
Have influence, Gwen. So I will say your superior is locked, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna shift that up. I guess mundane up
Mm-hmm.
and freak down.
Freak is also locked.
Okay,
My superior and Freak are both locked.
gotcha. So then do I just not make a shift, or do I still keep trying? Wah.
I mean, I guess usually you just stop there, I think.
Okay.
Why did you want to shift superior up, actually?
Because Gwen, knows a lot about Avalon.
Oh, okay.
She got the answers. Anytime it's what is happening, Lily's just Gwen, what? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And L.
I grew closer to Lily because she defended me back there. It was really nice.
It's a very good moment.
Yes, she's really
Boy.
sweet.
Why they be mean to L? I'm gonna shift. Also mundane up.
My mundane is locked
Everything is locked.
at
I-
-2.
Oh no.
Ow.
I have a feeling I should probably stop there because I don't know
The
what
only things you can move are freak and superior.
Oh,
else. Oh, wild.
you don't have to shift the labels.
That's
in
that's
that
a lot
case,
locked.
Yeah,
if you don't want.
yeah. I will refrain from doing that then.
Okay.
Okay.
Did Lily do anything?
Not yet.
I think
don't.
I think you
I did
skipped
not.
Lily.
Did I thought I said? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Lily. Lily, please. I love you. I love you so much.
Okay. I think Lily grew closer to L.
Oh,
Okay. Let me see. I'm fairly certain. Yep, I have influence over you.
Mm-hmm.
Savior up, definitely. And
Okay.
Savior up and danger down.
Okay. Dunzo. Mark of potential.
all right. I've got the generic fantasy music playing at the end, till eventually it fades out and there's a caw, caw of a crow. And hear the as it flies and the cracking of branches before the camera focuses from black and cuts. An axe is kind of being dragged through a battle axe. It is large and heavy.
An axe is being dragged through a battle axe?
It's a battle axe that's being dragged across the ground.
Okay.
There's bits of moss kind of along the handle as a heavy armored footfall walks through, joined by another much lighter footfall, as despite the, again, longsword dragging on the ground, this one partially covered in some black ichor of sorts. They're walking in kind of slightly muffled conversation. And kind of a little text thing pops up to 5 days later as they're walking along. There's some branches kind of cracking and breaking under being pushed aside until eventually two hands, one of them heavily gauntleted with, again, edges of moss and partial vines kind of making their way out of the cracks and edges, while another one with a kind of a light silver glove that has not been stained despite grabbing onto like pines and dirt and stuff and pushing it out of the way. Both of those hands part leaves to reveal Camelot from a distance through woods, and you notice that the woods themselves are desaturated as they're being pulled aside. They were desaturated as they were getting pushed. And you hear another voice from off camera. We must warn them immediately. Before the camera fades or cuts again to black. And that's where we'll end today's session. Or today.
Okay.
Good night,
Yeah.
everyone.
Good night,
Good night.
Annie.